Taíno people believed that the first humans emerged from caves in central Hispaniola, which the Taínos called Bohio, literally translated to mean home. From these caves also came the first stone, tree, and bird, as well as those people who were, quote, without merit, unquote, or anyone who is not Taíno. Their main deity was named Yakuha Bagua Merekoti, whose name translates to being of the yucca and the sea without male predecessor. This being, Yakuha, also had a mother. Her name was Atabe, and she arguably elicited more worship than her son. Yakuha, in time, had a son of his own named Yael, whom he killed after growing suspicious that he would usurp him. He placed Yael's bones into a higuero, a sort of hollowed-out gourd hung for burial ceremony, and magical fish formed out of his son's remains. Then 4 sons of Mother Earth happened upon the hanging gourd and attempted to eat the fish inside. Instead, the contents spilled out, forming the sea and all the creatures found within. In another story, the 4 brothers steal fire from the fire god, Be-Maneko. In anger, the god spits cohobo onto the back of the eldest brother. From this festering wound, a live female turtle was dug out and perhaps became one of the first semmis. Various myths circulated, all made to explain the creation of the Taíno people's social structure, as well as the land and sea around them. As mentioned previously, Taínos believed all peoples stepped out of caves in central Hispaniola. There were also 2 caves on either end of the landmass, which held significant religious and cosmological value to the native peoples. From these caves, located center, east, and west, the Taínos believed they held the key to all creation. They believed that the island itself was alive, these central caves serving as the uterus from which all life on the island emerged. The eastern cave was located at the precise position of sunrise, while the western cave was located at the precise position of sunset. These caves were where the sun slept for the night, only to be reborn in the morning. These myths serve as evidence that Taínos were adept at cosmology. The myth of the first cacique also drives home this point. Among the first Taínos were 2 brothers, Guahayona and Anacacuya. Guahayona is said to have gathered the Taíno women onto a canoe before setting out to leave. However, he could not depart until he dealt with his brother, the first cacique. He told his brother to look at a conch shell that he was pointing at in the sea, and as Anacacuya looked down, he was drowned by his own sibling. Guahayona could now set sail. On his voyage, he discovered many new lands. He arrived at the island of Matininio, where he left the women to fend for themselves and departed for the island of Juanin. There he was given a copper-gold alloy by the same name. Unfortunately, he also contracted syphilis during his stay, but he was treated by a local woman with Palo Santo. In return, Guahayona took a new name, and she provided him with the sacred stones, or cibas, which allowed him to become the first Behic. Taínos believed the Big Dipper, Ursa Major, represented the first cacique. It is seen in the night sky for only 7 months out of the year in the Caribbean region. As the Earth moves in relation to the Big Dipper, the stars appear to become submerged in the ocean. This cosmic event coincides with the start of the rainy season in the Caribbean. Once the Big Dipper returns to the sky in full form, hurricane season begins. The anger and wrath of the first cacique was then felt by the Taíno people. These stories demonstrate the Taíno people's deep understanding and knowledge of the stars, their environment, and their place in the world. Back in Hispaniola, the Taíno men were distraught over the loss of their women, and their children had all been turned into small frogs. One day it is said that 4 asexual beings descended from great trees. 4 unafflicted men walked toward the beings, and the 4 men who had syphilis held their feet down. Then the Caribbean woodpecker, believing the beings to be trees themselves, came and drilled the sex into the 4 heavenly humanoids. The red dot on the heads of Caribbean woodpeckers was believed to be the blood the beings shed in this process. This is the origin story of the first Taíno woman, and it helps to explain the matriarchal society they formed.